checking in on Saturday morning, October 18th, 2008 from Detroit, Michigan. I'm on an architectural tour with local expert Bob Goldsmith from Detroit Tour Connections, who's been taking me around, and we just came from the Civic Center area. That's what it's called, right?
Right, it's called Hart Plaza, but
Hart
it is our
Plaza,
Civic
right?
Center area.
Right in this direction. And we're now right in the center of Campus Martius, which is a great public space here in Detroit that's actually fairly recently been completely redone, right?
Right, I think since the year 2004 is when this park opened.
Okay. Now, we're surrounded by a number of stunning examples of Detroit architecture, starting on this side, if you can give me an idea of what we've got.
Okay. In the distance at Woodward, which is our main street, and Jefferson, which is our main street along the river, we have the building by Yamasaki from the early 1960s. And then the beautiful orange brick building is the Guardian building from the 1920s. And then we have the sort of checkerboard pattern of the Chase Bank building, which that goes back to the late 1950s. Then the tall building, beautiful building there is the Penobscot Building, 47 stories from 1928. So that was Detroit's tallest building and a big landmark for a long time, just as much as the Guardian building and Fisher building are landmarks. This new green glass building really was just completed a couple years ago. It's an office building, and as we go around, that building there is called 1001 Woodward. They're talking about maybe putting condos at the top, and that would just have phenomenal views if they actually pull that off. In the meantime, it's mostly an office building. And that's Woodward Avenue going north, and then the CompuWare building. CompuWare is a computer software company, and they were located in the suburbs of Detroit, and a few years ago they decided to move into the city, which is something that not many companies have been doing. So they built this brand new building, I think $350 million, and it has ground floor retail. In fact, it has a Hard Rock Cafe over there on the ground floor, but everything above that is all for CompuWare only.
Oh, cool. And
by
looking,
the lawn right here is part of Campus Martius Park, but in the wintertime this is where they set up an ice skating rink.
Great.
And it's like skating around in Rockefeller Plaza in New York with all the neat buildings around. Actually, our skating rink is slightly bigger than theirs, is my understanding.
And it's used for a lot of public performances and events. Right.
They have the stage here, they have these tables, people can come out Monday through Friday, during the work week and have lunch out here, and they'll even have free lunchtime concerts, and then it's also getting a lot of use on the weekends.
Now over on this side, let me get around the lights here. This building on this side is?
The two-tone building with the white top. That is the Waterboard building, and it's by Louis Camper, who did the Book Cadillac Hotel and a lot of other famous buildings in Detroit. And they call that an Art Deco skyscraper. It's really on a triangular shaped lot, so it's got a triangular shape to it. It's not rectangular or square at all.
Okay. And this building here?
It's called Cadillac Tower, and it's 40 stories tall from the late 1920s, now named for Cadillac, who was the founder of Detroit. And it's an office building. I know some lawyers that work in there.
Okay. And the last one on this side?
Right. This is an Albert Kahn building. It's called the First National Building, and it has the nice Corinthian columns toward the bottom. Up at the top, it used to have a cornice, but sometime later, cornices started to come down and fall on people's heads, so some of the buildings had to remove their cornices, and others just sort of secured them. But it's a great building, and again, it's right here at Campus Martius. That one is since 1921, I believe. And
I wanted to show you there's a statue or a sculpture right there.
That's from 1872 is when it was dedicated, and that's right after the Civil War. And at the top is an Indian figure, like her name is Michigan, but that's just an allegory. But toward the bottom, you can't really see them because of the fountain. There's soldiers and sailors from the Civil War era, and it's really called the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. Great.
Well, Campus Martius has really turned downtown Detroit into a real destination. I think it was important as part of the preparations for Super Bowl, right?
Very much so.
Super Bowl 2006?
Right.
Which was a big event here in Detroit and also helped with the revitalization, right?
Right. And we have a winter festival here called the Motown Winter Blast.
Oh, yeah?
Which we started before the Super Bowl, and it was part of the Super Bowl festivities, and then we've kept that going every year.
Great. Excellent. Campus Martius in Detroit.